Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC, with your host E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up, cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy, and listen to a show that won't be forgotten, coming straight out of Gotham.
And hello, everyone in Haddonfield. Welcome to another episode of Straight Out of Gotham, episode 54. This is the Aroldis Chapman episode. We are a fandom pop culture podcast and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Make sure you check out all the other great shows on the network by heading on over to batmanonfilm.com. There's a little tab for BatPod. It has all the shows. Everything's great over there. You've got Batman Book Club, Gotham Outsiders, ELTD. I forget what Micah's show's called, but there's a ton of stuff over there, so make sure you check that out. I'm your co-host from the other side of the Hudson River and a senior contributor to Batman on Film. I am Peter Rivera, and today we're recording on October 30th, 2021, Mischief Night, which I believe is only a thing in New Jersey and maybe New York. As always, we have a great show for you today, but before we get into the good stuff, I'd like to remind you, all of our faithful listeners, that if you take the time to rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts, and we get to read your review on air, you will enter to win our monthly giveaway contest, and October's giveaway is a McFarlane 66 Joker action figure from the Batman Classic TV series. So please, you have 2 days left to enter. Get those reviews in like your Rotten Tomatoes, and you enter to win that contest. Now, let me introduce my partner in crime, the East Marion Circus Peanuts eating champion, a fellow Batman on Film contributor. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Q. Holzman.
Q?
For Quincy, because your parents were huge fans of the Mr. Magoo television show.
Okay, Q. All right. Oh, how's it going, man?
I'm kind of I'm battling this cold. I've been sick for a couple days. It hasn't been fun. I'm COVID free. I've taken numerous tests. I've swabbed my nose so many times, so I'm COVID free. It's just the common cold, not the evil cold. And other than that, I'm really looking forward to chowing down on some candy corn and meeting all the trick or treaters tomorrow. So,
well, my stomach's a little. It's in a little bit of pain from all of the circus peanuts because, those things are hard to keep down. So
they're not very good, are they?
It's weird. As a kid, I loved them.
I never did.
I love those damn things. But now,
just orange peanuts that taste like bananas. It's just weird to me.
It's pretty much how they taste.
My grandmother, on the other hand, loved them. May she rest in peace, Rosebud. Loved circus peanuts.
The cool thing about them is they kind of dissolve. So you don't actually have to chew them all. You can just kind of leave them in the mouth and they dissolve if you don't want to. Because the texture for some people is what they don't like.
Yeah, I just don't like any of the texture, the taste, the way everything. It's a funny story is when my grandmother passed, I threw a bag of circus peanuts in the casket before they buried her. So she went. She had a bag to go down with. So
that's great. No, that's cool. I love that stuff. I like weird, quirky things like that when people do.
Every once in a while, I'll leave a bag at her grave. I won't leave flowers. I'll leave circus peanuts. Or for Easter, I'll leave like those caramel eggs. She loved those. So
that's cool.
Cemeteries and Halloween, so I guess it's fitting.
Exactly, right? It's apropos for what we're talking about today. So of course, as Pete mentioned, we are recording on October 30th, which is, as Pete said, is Mischief Night. Parts of New York State do have Mischief Night. I don't know if here on Long Island we do. I never did as a kid.
I was surprised to find out it was only a Jersey thing, really.
But I don't.
It's like pork roll. It's like one of those exclusive things to the state.
Yeah, it's. I did all of my stuff on Halloween the actual day. So tomorrow, even if I went egging or shaving cream and all that stuff, I did that on Halloween itself. So I wasn't into vandalizing things. I was kind of a good little boy. So
it's just those bastard Jersey children.
So I don't know. Did you ever take part?
No, not really.
No?
It's weird. My town always had a strict curfew on Mischief Night, so I guess they kind of was ahead of the curve there. But
it kind of feels like The Purge.
A little bit. Yeah, I guess.
Obviously they're not killing people, but you know, it kind of has that same kind of a deal.
Yeah.
You have the one night to
That's
mischief
valid.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. So The Purge, another what's it called? Horror movie, of course. I guess you could call it horror, right? It's technically, or is it just? I don't know. It's not a slasher, but it is.
You call it a thriller, more of a thriller.
I guess. Interesting.
Today's
another.
Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say today's show is a little different. We're going to ditch the news for an episode.
Yes.
And we're going to do our annual Halloween Spooktacular. We couldn't get any guests due to scheduling reasons. Lauer decided to watch Michigan State beat Michigan, which is his own fault. And, it's always fun to watch Michigan lose, if you ask me. So, sorry, Ryan. Not sorry. But so Lauer dipped out on us. Chris Rimmer, we did a show with him last year, and that was great. And we covered a bunch of topics and horror movies in general. But
yes,
this episode, we are going to discuss the new Halloween timeline, Halloween 78, Halloween 18, and the latest entry, Halloween Kills, which is now in theaters and streaming on Peacock if you are lucky enough to have Peacock. So
yes, we call it the Jamie Lee trilogy. But even though there's another one coming, so I guess it's not.
No, this is her second trilogy. Remember, you had Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween H2. Oh, it's not a trilogy, then Resurrection.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Halloween's got a bunch. I love how Halloween has all these timelines, to be honest with you. I think it's great because they're kind of setting the table for everyone else,
Right.
You don't need to them and the Fox X-Men, who cares about timelines? We just want to make movies. And
it's true. They do what's it called? They do just jerk around the timeline. Obviously they've had how many films in total?
I think there's 12 Halloween films
right?
in total.
12. So there you go. So you have the 12 Halloween films, and as we just said, they're not all connected. But some
11 of them have Michael Myers in them.
Right. The one that doesn't is 3, right? Which is Season of the Witch.
Which Reno claims
yes.
is horror film.
Which our friend Reno loves. And it's funny because I was talking to him last night about it. And he's like, I know it's not the greatest film. I just like it.
It's good. It's a good scary movie.
So he also said it's weird. He got into some of the history of it with me about how originally the plan wasn't to have Michael Myers be the one guy in the Halloween film.
Yeah, it was supposed to be an anthology film series.
Yeah.
And I believe the original plan for the original Halloween 4 was supposed to be some sort of ghost story. And then that was ditched after the poor reception of 3. So...
So what do you think? I wonder what kind of stories they could have told, or they would have told. Like you said, a ghost story. And maybe it's just things within the Halloween lore, like how Halloween came about and stuff. That's stuff they could have done.
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine maybe The Fog was a Halloween story. Jeff Carpenter just couldn't do it, so he just made it right. I would imagine he's a master of the genre and spooky stuff. So
yeah. So I'm sure it would have been, it would have been great, whatever he did. I'm sure looking back, I kind of wish they might have done that. The original plan in the anthology thing. Not that I don't love Michael Myers, because I do. Obviously, he's one of the greatest slashers in history. So It's a great character. But infinitely the scariest for me. I always think of the big 3 as Freddy, Jason, and him. Yeah. He's the scariest looking one. That mask to me is always
that blank face. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, I'm definitely a bigger Friday the 13th fan, but I respect the Halloween and Michael Myers a lot. They kind of, you could say they kind of started it all. While I think if you're going by just a date, I would imagine Black Christmas would be the very first, Bob Clark's Black Christmas, and I feel like that kind of inspired Halloween to an extent, but then Halloween just took it to the next level in 1978, and it's very interesting. It is very realistic, whereas Freddy and Jason are kind of supernatural.
Correct.
Halloween it's very grounded. That first movie, a mental patient escapes. He goes basically going back to his home. And, he's killing everybody along the way. So I dig it.
No, I mean, I rewatched the first film again, obviously, when we went to the show, because I hadn't seen it in a while, and it's Halloween. So I'm like, let me watch the first one. And so I'm surprised at how well it holds up still to this day. It really, obviously, the dressing and the hairstyles and stuff is very much the 70s, obviously, and the car and all that. But the theme, the way the story moves, the way it was shot usually from his point of view, almost the whole movie, like it's very, very, very well done, and it's a reason it's one of the temples for horror. Like it's one of the ones people go to as one of the best horror films. It's crazy. You look at a horror film being rated as on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone goes Rotten Tomatoes 96%. That's crazy, right? So
yeah, it is. And like one of my favorite parts of the first, all the Halloween movies is Michael's breathing. Yeah, like it's like that distinct sound and that mask, and it's like he's around and danger's coming for you. So
right, I always look to when I watch the old movies now, no matter what it is, I always look and see which actors had careers after this movie. Like, did this launch them into the future? Did they do anything?
Lindsay Wallace, she became a pretty big star.
Yeah,
I think the kid who played Tommy Doyle, I don't think he amounted to really anything.
No, obviously Jamie Lee,
yeah. So her and Lindsay Wallace.
Yep, and Donald Pleasance is the star of the Halloween, right? He's the headline name that you see, which is crazy because I only know him from that. Like, I don't know him from anything else.
Well, it's like Betsy Palmer, right? Like Friday the 13th. Like, she was a big star back in the day.
Right.
But I know her as Mrs. Voorhees. So.
Right. So, yeah, that obviously we're starting with the first one. So let's do that. So, Pete, when was the first time you saw 78? Do you remember the first time you saw the original Halloween film?
I don't remember the first time I saw it, but it seems like it's a movie that I've obviously it's been around my whole life. I've definitely seen it at a young age, and it definitely terrified the hell out of me. And it's just funny because as a kid, like I definitely saw it young, and the boogeyman, right? Like it's a real thing. Like my parents are very lenient. Like they're the complete opposite of Justin. Like they let me watch anything. And so like I remember seeing it as a kid. I don't remember exactly when, but I probably want to say I was like 8 years old. And it's pretty terrifying, and it still like affects me to this day. Like that's just horror movies in general. Like I'm not going out there. Like we got a greenhouse in the backyard, and I'm always like, we should put a lock on there. Someone could be hiding out in the greenhouse one day, and and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. Like it's like I know, but people do crazy things. But no, I remember seeing it young, and it terrified the hell out of me.
It's weird. The first horror, the first horror, I guess, villain I remember and I recall are, two of them. It's not obviously Michael Myers, but it's the Wicked Witch of the West from Wizard of Oz, and then Darth Vader. Like for me, being a Star Wars fan, Darth Vader. Those are the first two bad guy villains, scary. Because as a kid, Darth Vader was a little scary. Now, looking back, I'm like, I don't know why.
I was never scared of Darth Vader.
But as a kid, the Wicked Witch, I was. I was very afraid of the Wicked Witch of the West. So those are and then I think I was probably around 8, probably around the same age as you when I first saw Halloween. Again, my parents weren't home. My sister was babysitting me, and she wanted to watch it, so I had to watch it. And I don't remember it scaring me to the point where I was like, couldn't go to sleep that night or whatever, but it did heighten my awareness to certain things, like you were saying, like I don't want to go outside in the dark sometimes, or things like that, going around corners or someone hiding, like those things. It made me much more aware of those of my surroundings, I guess, in the larger sense after seeing that movie. Not trust. When I was a kid, it was always obviously don't talk to strangers. Yeah. There was always the brown van, blue car. Did you have the brown van, blue car thing?
No, no. What is that?
There used to be I never knew if it was true, but there used to be a story going around, and it had to be. I don't know how true it is, but that there were people kidnapping kids, and one was in a brown van and in a blue car, and so if you saw those things, so like all those things, it just. That was all around the same time, huh?
Michael drove a brown car.
Exactly, right?
Station wagon,
yeah. So like it kind of encapsulated that whole time period, because around the same time that when I first saw that movie and everything came out. So what part of what's the thing about the original Halloween film that even now stands out to you the most?
It's definitely. Oh, what's the blonde's name? It's when the blonde gets murdered because her boyfriend's downstairs, and Michael like puts him up against the wall, takes his glasses, puts the sheet on, and
Yeah.
she doesn't know it's him in the sheet, and like that part still gets to me to this day. The part where Michael breaks through the sliding door closet where
Jamie Lee's
hiding. That's
or
what gets
Lori.
me.
Sorry.
Same difference.
Yeah.
So that's those are the two parts that still stand out to me to this day. And I do jump after the boys are punking Tommy Doyle. His pumpkin breaks, and the one kid runs into Michael, and he just grabs him.
Yes.
Like that gets me, because that's like the first time you really see him in the mask. He's very quick. It's only on the top of your screen.
Yeah, that's probably the most chilling scene for me. That one, which is weird because no one dies.
Right.
But you have to think of it as a kid, and this guy. That had to be like I would have been so scared.
Yeah.
So that's the most chilling scene of the movie for me. I think the thing that stands out the most for me though is oh god, now I'm drawing a blank. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. The what's it called? In the laundry room. The scene in the laundry room with I always forget
Annie.
Yes, with Annie in the laundry room. Just the tension in there because you don't know where he is, and then she climbs out the window. She's trying to get out the window, and all the tension. Yes, like that stuff. The tension in that part was just got me. Just gets me every time.
I still get bummed out Annie dies. I really liked Annie as a character. She just seemed like someone you want to hang out with.
Yeah, and it was weird. The blonde.
What's her name? I forgot it.
The word the like thing became popular in the 80s, but she was using it in that film. Like everyone's saying like before this. That became more popular in the 80s, and she was using it, and I'm like, that's a 78 thing. So that was kind of just a cultural thing in my head that triggered. I'm like, oh, look, they started. This is another character did this way before.
Linda. Her name is Linda.
Right, Linda, yeah. So those, I mean, like I said when we first started talking about it, the setup and how this movie was shot, how Carpenter shot the film, the distance shots, obviously with Michael when they're looking out the window, Tommy seeing him, and then him not being there when Laurie goes to look, like all the stuff that we've gotten used to in horror really kind of starts here, in my opinion.
No,
right?
Halloween 78 is such a pioneer of the genre, really. Like it's definitely the one that caught on the most and really just kind of took it and ran with it. And Carpenter did a magnificent job of just. It's almost like Jaws, like, right? Like you don't really see Michael that much. You kind of see him from like the shoulder to the waist, you know. And and then he's just, when you do see him, it's like you said, he's always at a distance. It's always like you kind of feel safe because he's so far away. So it's just those are like the creepy elements that I think Carpenter was really masterful at. And it's funny when they announced they were doing this kind of rebooted timeline, and they were skipping Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, not Rob Zombie's. I was kind of upset because I really dig Halloween 2, but. Like we said earlier, I'm a big fan of all these timelines because it's like, as a comic book fan, I'm just so used to this stuff.
Yeah.
So this stuff doesn't bother me. I'm able to, catch on to it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember after the second the Rob Zombie one, I remember they were like they wanted to reboot it. Like it was a thing. It was a thing that they okay, we have to do something because those movies were just not what they wanted.
He was going to do a 3D movie. It was Halloween 3D at one point. Like there was talk of doing that. Halloween 2 is so bad in my opinion. Like the first 10 minutes are actually pretty decent, but it's all like a dream sequence or something.
Right.
It's that Halloween movie I probably never will revisit again. I watched it. It's horrible. I don't mind his reimaging. It's not the greatest, but I dig it. It's okay for what it was.
Right.
But Michael Myers is like Batman. Like I'm totally cool with a director coming around every so often doing one. And I appreciate with what Kenny Powers and company have done with this new timeline here.
So we don't the beginning of Halloween '78 sets up where Michael kills his sister, right? Like that's the thing as a kid.
Judith Myers, yeah.
Right, and then he's taken to obviously the hospital,
Smith Grove.
Yes, and he's there, and but we don't we don't ever really get insight, at least in this film, as to what he's like. Everyone just says he's just pure evil. There's no reason for him doing what he's doing. He's just evil.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Right. But maybe as he got older, he didn't have Manscaped. And maybe that's what's made him snap.
That, you know what? He could have used the Lawnmower 4.0.
Right.
I imagine Michael, and he's a slasher. He likes slashing things. So if he really needed to, he could have clipped the weeds down there. Right. And I don't know, maybe he could have had a shot with, Annie Brackett back in the day. I mean, it's possible. I'm sure he early on he was a good looking kid, so it's totally possible. So if you don't want to end up like Michael Myers, I suggest heading on over to manscaped.com, use promo code Gotham, save 20% and get free shipping on the whole website there. Because
Right. I mean, as you guys know, we have been promoting Manscaped for the month of October so far. So remember to get 20% off and free shipping with the code Gotham over at manscaped.com. Go there now and don't be like Michael. You don't want to have a crazy situation down there. Might make you snap. You don't want that to happen.
No.
So, you want everything to be neat and trim so that when you're getting into that intimate time, you don't look like a gorilla. Let's just put it that way.
Even bonus points, use that Lawnmower 4.0, trim a little jack-o'-lantern down there. There's no reason why the old Brajol can't get a Halloween costume either, right?
You're right. It's kind of created for, you could kind of do things like you can kind of
He's got a flashlight on there.
So yeah, so you do have, the tool does allow you to carve.
That's it, man.
Yeah, really, really create some fun,
something fun down there. Man-o'-lantern.
Yes, that was on his chest. But yes, there's so many things you could do. Again, manscaping is, if you want to do your chest and your stomach, and if you're a hairy guy like I'm a hairy guy. I'm just gonna put it out there. So if you like doing that and you like, you want to be smoother, the Lawnmower 4.0 helps with that too. So it's not just for your man parts; it's also for your chest and everywhere else.
Confidence and the right tools for the job.
Yes, Manscaped always is known for that. So again, it's not just the Lawnmower 4.0 we've been talking about. They have the toner, which I've been
using while Eric's been talking. It's fantastic. He has no idea. It's 2 shows in a row I've been spraying my Brajol, and Eric has no idea. So
thank God for that. Thank God I have no idea, even though I do know now. So that's just weird. But anyway, also they have not only the spray, they have a deodorant you can actually put on. It's like this creamy substance. You put that on. It's really, really cool. It literally cool because it does cool things off down there. It gives you kind of nice little cooling feeling. So again, guys, go over there to Manscaped, 20% off. Use our code Gotham. Christmas is coming, so you want everything. Women, ladies out there, if you're listening and you want to help your man out, same for you.
And who's to say that the ladies can't use it down there either?
That's true.
A razor's a razor, my friends.
That's true. That's a good point.
His and hers.
Yep.
If you got 2 sinks in your bathroom, have 2 lawnmowers. That's how it works.
Yes, that's true. You can't both use it at the same time.
Be a little greedy. Who cares about sharing?
All right. So again, guys, Manscaped, it's a paid promotion for us, paid sponsorship. So just go over there and use our code and get a little bit of a discount for you. So moving right along, let's move into, we talked about 78, the original Halloween film, the trendsetter, whatever you want to call it.
The OG,
the genre-defining film. And we're obviously going to fast forward now to the 2018 film, which was, as Pete said, kind of a soft reboot of the franchise. It pays homage a lot to the first one as well. The beginning of it's very similar.
Yeah.
So, Pete, when you look at 2018, when you heard it was announced, what were you looking for as a fan of the franchise? What were you looking at them doing? Did you get what you wanted from it? I guess that's the question.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to say this is my second favorite Halloween movie all time. I really dug the way they went with it. I like how Lori became like an outcast, and
Right.
She's got PTSD and she's kind of very militant. Her entire house is probably more well guarded than the Wayne Manor, right? Like everything about her, just really. Like the guns, the basement, the lights, the shooting range, and all the stuff they the exposition between her and her daughter, and how she's kind of looked at as like a loon, and how eventually the government came in and took Karen away and all that stuff. Like you really see you see the outcome of Halloween 78. Like you see what it did to her psyche and her mentality, and I thought it was utterly brilliant. And just to see how it not only affected her, as a person, but how it affected everyone around her. Even her own family kind of doesn't really, she's kind of not really associating with her family and stuff, like not by her own choice, but because they kind of think she's a loon. And I really was very interested when this was announced, and then seeing the movie, I was just taken away, just everything about it. And then to find out like, it's the whole like reason that the movie basically takes place is because the new Loomis is a whack job himself, and he's very jealous that the original Loomis got to see Michael in action.
Yes. So
he stages the whole thing. And there were some really cool elements that I thought were of modern times. Some people want to say it's woke. I just, it's the world's changed since 1978 and things are different. And, mostly that kid who wants to go to dance class and not go hunting, right? Like that's a very, you could see that happening these days. And that dad just can't come to grips with it. And it's a shame that kid died. But I kind of appreciate the fact that Michael is he doesn't care. He'll kill anyone. Like, as weird as that sounds, like I think that's important to the character, because as we mentioned in 78, he kind of let, I think it was Lonnie, live, even though he just scared him.
Yep.
So you kind of see how he's kind of even fallen into his own personal hell even farther. I really dug what they did with the podcasters. Maybe one day you and I can hang out with Denny V and talk to him about Dune, and we'll sit down and just talk about different perspectives on that. But it was cool because you think, okay, they're true crime podcasters are doing a thing, and like I love that scene with where they bring the mask out and the dogs are barking and all the other wackos are going nuts, and Michael can feel like the evil in the mask, and it was pretty cool. It really was. It's just I think it's just a brilliant sequel.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when they announced it, I wasn't too keen on it. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I said I'll go see it because it's Halloween, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really, really liked it. I think it's
released around Halloween. Like that's great for me too. That's perfect.
Right, and it's the best Laurie story, obviously, that we've gotten, I think, in all of the films. Like, it really focuses on what that did to her. Mm-hmm. And as you said before, the PTSD, being very militant, being consumed with Myers. He still lives in her head, and he just, he's the reason why she does the things she does. And yeah, I mean, that happens. If you have a traumatic experience like that, that's stuff that really happens. So it could hit home for people too, that that this woman just went through so much, and it just changed the course of her life. Mm-hmm. Now, it was good introducing obviously new characters. It was good showing her daughter, and she had a daughter, and she had her own family with the granddaughter, with Allison. So that was also good to flesh out the character a little more. And like you said, Michael's just as brutal as ever. Like he's just he's he's no F's given. He is killing everybody. Yep. And like I love there's cool moments, like you said, there's bits of homage, like in the cemetery scene. Like I dig that. That was cool. I love how he's always getting his overalls at a gas station, right? Or there's always some tow truck around. Yeah.
I dig that. I think that's cool. Like I'm just because like I'm always wondering, like, well, how does he get the mask back? Like and I thought they did a really good job with that. And I mean, when he's sprinkling that guy's teeth in the bathroom stall, I mean, that's about as scary as a Halloween scene as you get.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm like, oh man, it's crazy. And I will never understand why people just think they can go up against this dude. I would never live in Haddonfield, much less like if Michael's on the loose, the first thing I'm doing is packing my bags.
And that house, why would anyone want to go back to that house? Like, I don't know.
That house has to be the cheapest house in America. Like that house could be on beachfront property, and it's like, I don't know, $70,000. Like it's not. There's no way.
So maybe that's why.
It's dirt cheap. That's the only way you can buy it, because it's like full disclosure. When you buy a house, you got to know if there's a murder or something in there, and that's jeez. But no, I think Halloween 18 is masterful. And then, honestly, like the people behind it, like I didn't know what to expect from Kenny Powers, Danny McBride.
Well, no, that's what most people know him as, Kenny Powers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like, Kenny Powers is making a new Halloween, and you're like, what? And I think he did a magnificent job. I know he's writing it. I know he didn't direct it, but like, writer producer.
Yeah, he was one of a couple. There was other people who were involved in the writing of it, but he was the biggest name attached to it. And you're right. It's very well written. Like I said, it pays homage to the first one. There's similar beats. There's similar story, obviously plot lines. The escaping from the mental institution, you have that there. Mm-hmm. So you have that. They introduced the character of not introduced, but Hawkins.
Yes.
Right. So he gets added to the story, which we will find out is a bigger deal when we talk about Halloween Kills. But, he gets added to the story here. And it's just, like I said, when you go away from something and you're coming back to it, you say, okay, we're going to kind of reboot it. And you're having Jamie Lee Curtis back in it, and she's much older. I'm always interested. Okay, what are they going to do? And can they make it relevant? Can they make it current? Mm-hmm. And they did.
And so here's another thing, and I think where the movie is aces here is how they can make a slasher film in modern times with modern technology, and it still doesn't work. Like why doesn't Allison have her cell phone? Well, the cheating boyfriend, they get into a fight, he throws it in the punch, like she's always on the phone, blah blah, and it's like, oh, that's great, it's like, it's not like, oh, how many like bad horror movies have we seen where like, oh, there's no cell service, like I could see the fact where the boyfriend throws the phone breaks. Like, okay, I get that. Like, that's actually pretty good to me. And I think that's a great way to do it because, like, everyone has access to 911 these days and everyone has a computer in their pocket. So it's like, and we're going to see that too. Like, it looks like Scream 5 is really updating it with the technology and stuff. So yes. I'm excited to see what they do as well. But I thought that was a pretty brilliant move there in 2018.
Yeah, like there are, like you said, how would you make it current? How do they do that? That's one of the things they do. Obviously, you got to include the technology, and they did that, and it didn't hurt the film, and it was believable. That's one of the hardest things to do with horror films to me is making them believable. Even if you're suspending belief because you have to, like obviously these things can't happen, or this one guy can't survive all of this stuff that happens to him. Mm-hmm. So you have to suspend belief. In reality, but when you can do that now and it's still with all the technology you have and still make it work, like you said, that's a really, really, really good sign, and it works in this film. It's it works amazingly because then it's like
because then they pick her up, and then you see the doctor show his true colors, and then he drives him back to the house because this doctor is just as crazy as Michael.
Yes,
and then Allison, and then Michael's in front of the house, and then Laurie's doing her thing. Michael's in the house, and Allison walks in, and you're like, none of this feels forced.
Nope.
It feels like it just naturally would happen, and. In this movie, it's like, I love how Laurie really believes that she is the key.
Yep.
Right? Like, she really thinks Michael's after her, and we learn in the next movie that's not true.
Right.
And it's like, and that's always kind of been a theme about Halloween. Like, Michael just wants to go home, and we learn again, like Hawkins talks about it in 20 in Kills.
Yes,
he just just wants to get back to his house. He kills people and he goes home. Like, that's all the guy does.
So the last how they kill him, because obviously he's not dead. So how they kill him in this one, I liked that the third act of this film, I think, is very, very strong.
Yes.
It's one of the best, I think, in all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like you see the legacy, right? It's all three of them. So it's the legacy.
Yeah.
They're all there, and they trap him. And they burn the house. Like Laurie burns the house down, and that's you think he's dead, right? You think, okay, finally he's gonna burn to death.
Which is, let's just go back to like how crazy Lori is because she's got gas. Basically,
Yes.
she's like planned gas leaks in her entire
Yes.
house. I was like, this woman's really lost it. Like, and then they've got like, I love the bars where like
Exactly. I was just about to bring that up.
That's incredible, and I love how Karen tricks Michael into coming out in front of the steps. And I was like, God damn, you're amazing. Like, I thought you were good in Ant-Man, but this chick isn't even bad. I was like,
Judy Greer, right? Shout out to Judy Greer.
Oh man, she was great in this movie, and I was like, and she gotcha, and I was like, oh damn, she's
when I saw the bars, I'm like, she really planned for everything.
Yeah,
this woman planned for everything. It's just an awesome ending. Again, one of the best. I
loved how Karen was proved wrong. Like she thought this never would happen, and it's like literally everything your mother put you through, you went through for a reason, and it finally happened. And it's like because in the beginning of the movie, Karen's just kind of like, mom's crazy, mom's drinking again, like you know, in the restaurant and everything, and it's just. You know, she didn't invite her to Allison's like was it graduation dinner or whatever it was, and you just like no, like your mom knew that this might happen one day, and you know, it's like you just be prepared, and Lori was completely prepared.
Yeah, she's in denial, right? Like her daughter was in denial for the whole basically until it happens, and then she was prepared. Yeah. So it's everything that she didn't want to happen happened. And then because of her mother, she was prepared for it. And then she realized, okay, you know, this is part of my life.
Mom's not crazy.
Right. Mom's not nuts. This is actually real. And this is part of my life. And so we leave there. And now let's go into the most recent, which just came out, earlier this month, I think?
Now this is where we fight.
Halloween Kills. Yes. So I'll say this because we talked about the trailers on a couple of episodes when they got released. We talked about the trailers, and I was actually excited for this film because the trailers I thought were excellent. And I'm like, all right, this looks like it's going to be a really good installment. So we'll talk real quick about the setup, and then we'll give our opinions. So the beginning of it, you see. It kind of picks up right where the last one left off, pretty much. It's pretty
the
much
same night.
It's the exact same night. Yeah. Picks up there. You see Cameron. He's all upset because he had the fight with Allison, and he calls his friend, whatever, and then he sees Officer Hawkins.
Yep.
He goes over and he notices he's been his neck, right? And everyone thinks it's Michael, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, he's sitting there and he's like, oh, I have to kill him. He's saying to, I have to kill Michael Myers, blah, blah, blah. He says to Cameron. And then they go into flashbacks.
Yeah.
And this is the best part of the movie for me. The flashbacks.
I agree. It's probably my favorite part as well.
So Pete, you set this one up. You talk about
it goes back to that night in '78, and I got to say, I was completely shocked when Loomis popped out of that doorway. And to find out that that's not de-aging, it's not CGI, that it was prosthetics, it was makeup. I was just bravo to the people in charge, because I think Hollywood has really missed that in the past 3 decades. It was cool to go back to that moment where they catch Michael, and Loomis is about to shoot him, but Hawkins thought that maybe he could be rehabilitated in that moment, and as a police officer, he made a judgment call not to have somebody murder Michael. And it seems like Hawkins is really taking a lot of the blame of what's going on tonight upon himself, because he prevented Michael from dying that night. And then you learn that Michael helped lead Hawkins to murder his own partner,
right?
And there's kind of like that back and forth where it's just like, okay, give me the gun, we'll figure this out, we'll tell that Michael did this and whatnot. So he's been dealing with a lot of guilt himself, and it just goes to show you that night in '78, it wasn't just the babysitter murders. It was, it affected the whole town. And I think that the movie does that really brilliantly. Like, I think the movie expands upon the legacy of the first 2 movies, and you see what the survivors, you see Doyle, you see what's her name, Wallace, the little Wallace, Lindsay Wallace. You see Marion. They are the survivors, and Tommy can't help but bring up the topic on Halloween. You know, like you see that they went through a similar fate that Laurie did, and you know, and at the first, you know, appearance of Michael, like they all go into, it's not, there's no fight or flight, it's just fight.
Yep.
And I think this is something that they touched upon in Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, and it wasn't really done well. I think it was done masterfully in this movie, how one man can basically get an entire town to turn into a mob, and the law is just helpless, and, you know, evil dies tonight. And I thought it was great. And, you know, obviously, like, everyone wants to make fun of that little, that mental patient who escaped and got confused. But I'm just, in the heat of the moment, man, you know, you can't stop a mob. We saw what happened in our own country. It's happened in front of us. You know, one mob can do a crazy amount of damage. So it seems very believable to me.
Okay. I wasn't going to go there, but since you brought it up, dude, he's like a midget compared to Michael Myers. There's no way people
get it, but like you act like people aren't stupid and easily manipulated in the heat of the moment. Like they stormed the Capitol not too long ago. Like we lived through this.
No,
You've
but it's
seen
not
what angry mobs do.
But it's seriously.
You think the guy in the back of the mob can see 40 feet away? No, he just sees everyone. They all got pitchforks and torches.
Okay, but Tommy's lived with him. He knows what he looks like. He's lived with him all his life, and he's one of the ones chasing him? Come on, man. It's not believable.
It's so believable.
Just not believable.
God. You just talked about suspending belief 20 minutes ago, and now you're not going to do it.
Yes. No. You can suspend belief, but not
over here.
Not on a height difference that is literally almost probably a foot. There's probably a foot difference in height between these two. And nobody recognized. Everyone's going after him. Everybody is going after him.
Because that's what a mob does. It's an uncontrollable mob.
Karen. Karen is like, it's not him. It's not him. She's the only one. No one's paying attention to her. No one's listening to her.
Yeah, because the mob is uncontrollable.
And I would, again, if it wasn't Tommy there, I could see it. But he has literally known him since he's a little boy.
But then he knows it's not him, and then he can't control his own mob.
But that's what an angry
mob does.
He knows it's not him after she keeps telling him. He makes eye contact with her, and then he's like, "It's not him," because she's saying it to him. Because Karen's saying it. That's who he sees. Dude, it's the most unbelievable part of the film.
Oh, stop it.
It's the part of the film you're kind of like, all right, here we go. And like, all right, oh god,
it's unbelievable. Because killing a bunch of firemen. Well, he's like,
no, I was going to get to that too. That was going to be the next part. That scene when he's killing them one by one. None of them move to jump on him. Nobody goes after him. They all just stand there and watch him to pick off the firemen one by one. And then again,
every movie gangs up. It's always 1-on-1.
And then again at the end with the townspeople doing it, the same thing. They just watch him kill everybody one by one.
Yeah, because they're dumb townspeople.
And nobody jumps on them. But that goes
in horror movies are stupid.
But that goes against.
That's why they all die.
That goes against what they were doing in the beginning when they left the bar and he was in the car. The black lady is like, "Oh, he's in my car! It's in my car!" And it wasn't him, but they thought it was. It was the short guy.
No, it was DeVito.
Yeah, but again, they weren't doing that then. They were all going to go after him. Every single person was coming to get Michael Myers.
But they did that at the end. They all gathered. They trapped him, but that's it. I don't know why they decided to leave the knife in his back. I would have stabbed him at the base of his back.
Okay,
you
have an axe. Chop his head off. That's it. He can't live without a head. It's over.
I can't believe Brackett didn't shoot. I was like, why are you guys getting so close to him? But then again, I don't know. They're dumb townspeople in horror movies. They're supposed to die.
No, yes, but again, they're supposed to be older, wiser. Like these people dealt with him before. This is not new. This is not a new experience for the main people in this movie. They've all dealt with him before. Ago. So you have to have this, like, all right, I get it if it's the kids because they're kids. They don't know any better. The high school kids, fine. We have to talk. Well, we got to talk about Cameron's death because that one, wow, like that death was one of the best in the entire franchise. If you ask me,
it was pretty brutal, man.
Oh my god, and he sells it too. The actor did a great job. He sells it.
I thought he was better in this one than he was in the last one.
Yeah, that scene. Oh, guys, you'll know it when you see it. When you watch the movie, you will know it right away because it's just gruesome and brutal and holy crap. But yeah, I mean, those are just a couple of the things that took me out of the film. Again, the first 15, 20 minutes, I love. They're great.
I was
They're
really
excellent.
into the whole angry mob thing. It really captivated me. I was like, I know some other people are calling. I've heard people call these two movies woke, and I just think that's just people talking. But it really worked for me. I bought the whole angry mob thing. I really did. And again, it seems to me like it's a little bit of homage to Part 4, even though I don't think anyone wants to remember that movie. But it's I thought it worked. It really did wonders for me. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time watching this. But and at the end, I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, you guys, like, you're like, isn't Illinois a big gun state? Like, it's kind of out
true.
there.
Yeah.
I was like, well, one chick's got an iron. The other dude, like the one guy gets oh man. And then when Michael slashes the one guy in his Achilles, I was like, that's a good move, dude.
Yeah. When what's his name? Oh, the kid. Now I'm drawing a blank. I had it. That kid. His name begins with M. What was the character?
I don't remember.
Well, no, he's one of the main kids from the flashback scene, the one who falls down that he looks at. And
Lonnie. That's Lonnie.
Right, Lonnie, right? So Lonnie, when he first gets together and he brings the van, he has a ton of guns in the car, right? He has a ton of guns in his van.
He gave it to the nurse. She shot herself in the head.
Which, again, that was I laughed when that happened.
That's just it's a funny kill in a movie. Her husband, though, with the knife in the eye, I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was sad to see Marion die again.
Yeah.
This is for Loomis, and I was like, oh, damn. But it looks so much like '78. Shout out to Nancy Wallace for being smart enough to survive this night. You know, she seems to be the only one. I was a little bummed. I don't know what happened to Tommy Doyle. I'm assuming Tommy dies. I was a little bummed that the legacy characters all died. It was great for me to see Brackett back, but again, he met a horrible fate.
The big death obviously is at the end, right?
Yeah, and like that to me is just like, I was like, why the hell did you go up there?
I know.
It's probably the one thing in the movie I don't like. I was like, because like I'm sitting there like, is Karen going to turn here? I was like, is Karen going to become like the new Jamie Lloyd?
Yeah, that's a good
one thing I don't like.
Yeah, so that's obviously the big one.
I did dig all the scenes with Big John and Little John. I thought they were pretty entertaining. I don't know why Big John thought the paring knife was a good idea.
I know.
First of all, again, like just dumb people in horror movies. If you see a bloody handprint on a door frame, why do you lock the door on the inside? Run out the house. Especially when you know whose house it is. Like, I'm not taking chances tonight, dude.
I mean, that's another thing. The gay couple, right? Okay, so there's a gay couple in the movie, which is fine. But when they mentioned that he gets through he comes in, they say he comes through the back door. I mean, could you be any more on the nose with a thing like that?
I honestly didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. I swear to God, I didn't even think about you mentioned it.
I mean, I heard it, I'm like, was that intentional? It had to be intentional. I can't imagine that wasn't an intentional line in there. And I laughed. Like, when I heard it, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. I laughed. I think that's the problem with me. I laugh too much in this movie, and it's not a movie I should laugh at.
But here's the thing. I have seen so many slashers where I can't help it. Like when the nurse gets shot.
100%. 100% correct.
But
yes.
I dig it. It doesn't bother me. Whereas like the laughs in like Halloween 5, whenever those cops pop out and there's like circus music playing, like that bothers me. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? But that movie's so bad in general.
And then I think about Danny McBride, right? He does comedy, so maybe that's part of just him throwing some of himself into the movie.
And he does a form of black comedy, so I get it. So maybe that's just him. His part of one of the things he wants to include. Again, it's not. There's just that didn't bother me as much. That was kind of like a haha thing, whatever. It's funny. Making the black couple, the wife be the doctor and the husband be the nurse, but they switched the roles for their costumes. So the wife is the nurse and the husband is the doctor. Mm-hmm. Like that was cool. Again, like I said, the beginning where Tommy gives the speech about Halloween night and what happened in Haddonfield, like all that stuff. Them in the bar, really, really cool. That stuff all worked for me. It just overall, I don't know. I don't know if it's something I was looking for that I didn't get. I can't really put my finger on it. I think 18 is a lot better.
Yes,
but I really enjoyed this. I do. it was tough for me to decide where this fell, Halloween Kills, in terms of like my favorite Halloween movies, because I really do I love 78. I love H2O. I love Halloween 2, as I mentioned earlier. And I love 18. So I was like, man, this is really good. Because like for the first time, I was like, man, we got some really good Halloween movies. Like, majority of these movies are pretty bad. Resurrection is really bad. The whole Jamie Lloyd trilogy is really bad. Yep. Halloween 3 is a good movie. It's just not Michael Myers.
Right.
So in general, I feel like the Halloween franchise isn't the greatest franchise ever. I think Friday the 13th as a franchise is a much better franchise. But I put this, like, if I was to put this movie, I think it's better than H2O, but I think it's not as good as the original Halloween 2. So for me, it's in my top 5 goes 78, 18, the original Halloween 2, Kills, H2O, and then Rob Zombie. And then after that, it's just whatever. I'd
put Kills after the first Rob Zombie film.
Really? You think it's okay?
I think it's better than the second one.
I like what Zombie did. I like the mystery of Michael Myers, and I kind of dig the fact that Judith was normal, grew up in a normal household. Whereas, like, I get what he was doing, and he had to do something different, and that's totally respectable, and I appreciate the fact that he did it. But I was like, oh, this makes sense that this guy would turn out twisted. Well, he's got this drunken stepfather and all this other stuff.
Right.
Like I get why this guy is so broken and beat down. Whereas, in the Carpenter version, you're like, well, what the hell's wrong with you, kid?
Right. Like those movies at least gave you motivation. You had some kind of motivation as to why he was the way he was.
But like Michael, it's like, let me say this about the Joker, like, not having an origin, or it makes him scarier. Like,
well, the Joker's different because he talks. Like the Joker has a personality, and he has.
Yeah, but still, like, why do you do the things that you? Why do you murder all these people? Why are you doing all this crazy shit?
He said. Some people, well, Alfred said, some people just like to watch the world burn. That's just what they like to do.
And Michael likes watching Haddonfield burn.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll feel differently. But on my first watch, I've even come around a little bit, because when I was first watching, I'm like, this is awful. Like,
that's funny, because like that's how I felt about watching Dune. I was like, this is boring, nothing's happening. But like the first 15 minutes of Halloween Kills, I'm like, this is incredible. This is action packed, and it's got legacy characters, and it's world building. And I was like, I'm just
well, that's also different. Like Dune, you knew nothing about.
I knew nothing about Dune.
Whereas these characters you've known your whole life, so it's a little different. You have attachment to these characters already going into this movie.
A bunch of people in their pumpkin spice lattes. They find the pumpkin spice. That's what it is.
Dune it's so good. Like
it's very boring.
It's just excellent.
And it's the only Disney movie I don't like. I love Blade Runner. I think Blade Runner 2049 is an epic masterpiece. I said it. There you go. I'm on record. I call the movie a masterpiece. There we go. I'm on record for it.
I've heard people call Dune a masterpiece. I won't go that far, mostly because it's the beginning of a story. This is basically, I don't know. You don't like Lord of the Rings, right?
No, that was boring too.
All right. Well, there you go. Maybe this is why. Maybe this is why you don't like Dune, because this one is basically the Fellowship of the Ring. The first Dune movie is the first Lord of the Rings film.
It's just funny because like, it's just like when I first heard the reactions to Dune, and it was like masterpiece, world building, Lord of the Rings. I was like, it sounds like the Snyder Cut. I was like, these same people are saying the same thing. The Twitter cinephiles, they only know 3 words.
So you knew right away you weren't going to like it because it's Lord of the Rings.
Shot. I mean, I was like, man, nothing's happening here.
No, it's fine.
I am very concerned about Halloween Ends. While I think 18 and Kills works really well, because like 78 and Halloween 2, it's basically the span of one night.
Right.
Halloween Ends just seems like they're deviating from their original plan. There's a time jump. COVID's going to be involved in the storyline. I'm like, oh guys, it's like The Flash and No Way Home. I'm like, are you biting off more than you can chew? Because if you end Halloween Kills and it goes on hiatus for like, I don't know, 6 years, 5 years, and then someone new comes on board, I'd be more into it. I'm very concerned about how Halloween ends.
So, well, there's they're saying they're going to kill both of them, right? Like that, we kind of know that's going to happen.
Which is weird because they say they can't kill Michael Myers, which is why H2O and Resurrection have that weird like ambulance guy gets beheaded and it's like a contractual thing. Like there was a video I put it, I retweeted it maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago where Jamie Lee Curtis was talking how after H2O she wanted to kill Michael. Like I think the plan was to like behead him in the pool where the pool closes and that's how he dies. But they were like, we can't kill Michael, but what if we do it in a way where you think you kill Michael and the audience thinks you kill Michael so that we can do another movie? And she's like, well, what do you mean? And that's how H2O Resurrection happened. So we'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't mind that this will be like one timeline, one contained thing. That's fine. If I don't like Halloween Ends, I don't like Halloween Ends.
Right.
I got these movies and I can enjoy them, and in time, as I have learned personally, you can even revisit the horrible movies. I can revisit Batman and Robin because of what's come after it. I can revisit Halloween 4 and 5 because of what's come after it. It lessens the blow when someone comes around later and or like those bad the last couple Pierce Brosnan Bond movies that were horrible. Like the Daniel Craig movies totally make up for that. And you can rewatch them and you look at it differently. But like when it's the last thing, it leaves that bad taste in your mouth. So I don't know. Like we'll see how it goes. But I kind of dig that they're doing this the Nolan way, where it's a contained story. And if someone wants to come along and do something else, like let them do it. And it doesn't bother me. I'm concerned for the movie at the time, but again, like I have a bunch to pick from, and at some point, my hatred for it, if it's bad, will lessen.
Well, for me, since I didn't like kills, it could only get better for me. So I'm hoping that they end it well. I hope that Jamie Lee Curtis gets a good send off. Obviously, this has been her biggest role still in
a cool
her
way
life.
To segue out of the role, as an Affleck would say.
Yeah, so I hope she gets a proper send off, a proper ending to Laurie's story. I'm wondering how, like you said, though, like you're right, it's contractually in, like he's not supposed to be killed. So I don't know how they're gonna go about doing it. Because obviously we always get the breathing at the end in some shape or form. So maybe that's what they'll do, and then we'll get like a little bit of a breath, and then they could take it from there and say, look, he's not dead, even though he is in this storyline. But yeah, I'm interested. I will say I like it enough that I won't abandon it. I've liked what I've gotten so far.
I think there's a reason why we got the Strode girls in the movie.
Right.
I think that I don't think he'll die in Halloween Ends. Maybe maybe Laurie will, but maybe Allison will take the reins here.
Yeah, it's possible they could do that. Especially the way things are now in most movies, how we get these spin-offs and we get things like that to just continue. So yeah, we might get something like that, which I'd be fine with if there's a story to tell. I even heard I read this somewhere. It's stupid. I don't want to bring it up, but someone said, well, what if Michael in the home had got with a woman and got her pregnant and he has a kid?
Wow, that's a bit of a stretch.
Right? Like, that's why I said, like, that just sounds completely stupid. It wouldn't fit the story at all. I wouldn't like it.
Something that would have happened in like Halloween 15. The spawn of Michael Myers.
Right. Or something like, but, or like, this is my head thinking now, what if they got his sperm somehow and some woman was crazy, some crazy nurse in the hospital did something like that.
So you literally, like, someone's got to go over to Michael, get him aroused and go to town on him and get him to, like, jizz in the tissue.
Well, we don't know.
You're complaining about the angry mob, but yet you just want someone to go over there and give Michael a handy.
I didn't say I wanted it. I'm saying, like, I'm just trying to think of how they could keep this going in another way, in another form.
You don't write movies.
So, hey, you know what? At least I'm thinking. This
is the type of thinking that runs franchises into the ground.
I didn't say it was good thoughts. I just said I'm thinking. I said it was good. These were good ideas.
Oh man, Reno was like rolling. Reno's got like 15 unfinished like horror scripts he's working on right now, and he's just rolling over.
Well, that kind of happens in what's it called? in Hannibal, you saw Hannibal, right? Is it Hannibal?
Was it Hannibal?
I think, yeah. The where with Mason Verger, the character, like that's what he was trying to do to him. They were trying to do to him because he wanted to have offspring, whatever, like that. It's the same kind of deal. I don't
Didn't
know.
they just do something like that in Watchmen?
The show, yes.
HBO, right?
I think yes. I think
Something
so.
like
So it's not like a weird. I just
Weird.
the only way you could keep him going without it actually being him is for him to have someone in his bloodline. That's why I'm thinking this way.
Which is maybe it's Allison. What if Allison becomes Michelle Myers?
That would be crazy. That would be. Oh yeah, or maybe like surrogate family, right?
Jamie stabbed her mother at the end of Halloween 4.
That's true.
Halloween 4 is getting a lot of love today.
It's getting a lot more mention than I thought it would. That's for sure. So, all right. So there are a couple other things that. Oh well, there's one other trailer that came out, and I just want to talk about it because it's not what I wasn't expecting to like it. I wasn't expecting to even want to go see it, and then I saw it, and I want to see it. So it's a much happier movie. It's a Disney Pixar, and I'm talking about Lightyear. So the trailer for Lightyear came out this past week. Again, I didn't even know this movie was in development. So for me, watching it, no, I had no idea. I don't remember talking. And if we did, I apologize, but I don't remember talking about it. Mm-hmm. So the trailer was very, very good. It's so good that now I actually want to see the movie where I didn't care about it at first. So did you see the trailer, Pete? Do you have any? Yeah,
I liked it. Here's the thing, though. I might see it. I might not. I haven't seen the last Toy Story. I don't think I've seen actually 3 or 4.
I didn't see 4.
I'm not Ryan Lauer. I'm not big on Toy Story. It's the first one's all I needed. The second one was okay. I don't care about why they made the Buzz Lightyear action figure. I don't care about the actual Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
I care about Tim Allen, the action figure. So while it's not something I wanted, I might check it out depending on, if Lauer goes on Twitter and calls this a masterpiece, I might check it out on Twitter. I might check that out. But, it's just something, like if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Like, no, it doesn't really matter to me. But,
right.
Yeah, like I just... if we get like as a kid, when Toy Story came out, I got that Bud Light. That's for Zeddy. Buzz Light.
Freudian slip. Pete wants a beer. He's ready to drink.
If it's Bud Light, I might as well drink water. But I had that action figure, and it kind of got destroyed. So if I get a new Buzz Lightyear action figure out of this, I'll pick it up and buy it because of nostalgia reasons. But it looked cool. We'll see what happens. I wonder, is Zurg in this? Like, again,
yeah, I have no idea.
Buzz Lightyear that I love and care about is the toy. I don't really care about the real Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, I know. That's the interesting thing. So it's just something that I saw, and again,
animation looked great. Animation looked wonderful.
Yeah, and I was excited because it wasn't something I was excited about. So it actually got me interested.
I'm bummed that Tim Allen isn't voicing Buzz Lightyear.
They're passing it off as it's not the toy, it's the real guy, so it doesn't have to be Tim Allen.
I guess so.
It's Chris Evans. It's Chris Evans.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I get when you get a talking Batman, is it ever the actor? So no. So I guess that makes sense.
So I mean, it's Captain America, right? So we're getting Captain America to be the voice. It's pretty cool. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So lastly, before we put a ball on this, Pete, do you have any plans for Halloween?
I might. Here's the thing. I'm supposed to go to a Halloween party, but I might just make an appearance just because I told my buddy I would go, and just because I'm not feeling the best. But I did, and it's funny because I don't normally dress up for Halloween, but I actually pulled off a Halloween Riddler costume that's pretty faithful to Matt Reeves.
I saw it. Yes, shout out very good.
Reno hooked me up with somebody on Etsy that I could buy the mask from, and it looks legit. So. I'll do that for a little bit and probably head home, but that's all. And then tomorrow I will sit at the door and greet the trick-or-treaters, and I can't wait to see what people are dressed up as. And I carved a jack-o'-lantern earlier this afternoon, so.
Yeah, I'm going to do that tonight. I have a pumpkin I need to carve, so I'll do that tonight. I don't have technically any plans. I usually go to my sister's house to see my nephew, in his garb.
What's he dressed up as?
I don't know what he's going to be this year. I haven't asked him. But my 2 great nephews, the 2 little guys, I might go to my nephew's house to see him. At least one of them. The other one, I'm not sure what they're doing, but I might go there because it's just cool. to see the kids. So I'm hoping everyone who listens to us, if your kids go out for Halloween, please take pictures and send them to us. Tweet at us on Twitter and send us the pictures.
Steve, Helen, Garrett, all you guys.
Yeah, if you guys feel comfortable. I mean, I know some people are weird about putting their kids on social media, so if you are, I understand. But if you're not and you're cool with it, if you're cool with it, please. I love seeing all the Halloween costumes. I love Halloween. So
Justin, Asher, and Oliver, I want to see those guys.
Yeah, so if I wish I was doing something this year for Halloween, unfortunately I'm not. I usually go to a party, but still with COVID, people are weird, and a lot of people still aren't comfortable hosting things. So,
what are you watching tomorrow?
Football.
That's no fun.
No, I
guess if you like horror, you could watch the Jets. That's
true. It's scary. That's the scariest thing I could watch tomorrow is the Jets
football.
As a Jet fan, yeah. So it's Halloween for me every Sunday.
Did you miss Adam Gase yet?
No. This is for a completely new coaching staff. Everything's new, so I'm giving them time. Adam Gase was just a mistake, but this I'm actually I'm being patient with, and we'll see what happens.
I don't know what I might check out that new Chucky series because I have watched Halloween prepping for this show, and then I've filled in the slots in between with 4 or 5 and The Curse of Michael Myers and H2O and stuff. So I'm pretty Halloweened out. Usually I do watch Halloween on Halloween, but because of the show I prepped. So I'll probably watch some Friday the 13th. I'll probably watch some Chucky. I'm not a big Pinhead guy. I don't like Hellraiser.
I'm not a big Hellraiser fan either.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Maybe It?
Yeah. I can watch It, part 1, part 2. I dig those. But I might have to give that new Chucky series a shot. It's been people have been saying it's pretty good. I might actually check out that Mark Hamill Chucky movie. I know Reno hates it, but I still have to see that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either, so that's definitely a possibility. I've been, like I said, all the channels like Sci-Fi and AMC, and they've been showing all the Halloween films. So I've just been flipping around television, and I've been catching parts of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like this morning, Freddy's Dead was on, which I hate that movie, but I watched it because I hadn't seen it in a while, so I watched part of it.
It's actually easy to get classic Universal monster movies in because I think they're only like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
they're not long. So it's easy. A Frankenstein or a Dracula or Wolfman are really easy to get in.
Maybe I'll watch Dracula. I haven't watched Dracula in a minute.
Oh man, Bela Lugosi.
I know. If there's ever was a person born to play a part, it was him. Because so creepy. But again, Halloween, as you could tell, Pete and I really like Halloween, and we like the horror genre.
Before we end this, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, it's weird because it used to be Kit Kats. I used to love Kit Kat. I still love Kit Kats. But you want to just like Halloween candy we can't get any other time of the year, or just Halloween candy?
No, what's your favorite candy? Well, for me, I'll be honest, it's candy corn. I love me some candy corn.
Oh, I used to when I was younger. It's too sweet for me now. I don't know why. It's just way too sweet. I can't just eat it. So it's probably now that Reese's has Halloween pumpkins and bats, which I actually sent you guys when I bought Halloween bag of the bats. I'm like, oh crap, they have bats. Obviously, Batman was my thinking, and I'm like, here we go. I got my Halloween bat. So I bought some of those. I also got a mix of Kit Kats and pumpkins.
Did you mail us candy?
No, I can. I have so much candy.
You said you just mailed us Halloween bats.
No, I didn't.
I thought you said you sent us bats.
No, oh. I took a picture when I bought the bag. I remember, and I sent it to you guys.
Oh, I thought you were like mailing me snacks. I was like, I don't know snack.
And I put it on Twitter, and I said, you guys don't. If you know me, you know why I bought these. Like that's why.
Yes. Okay.
So that's what I bet. But yeah, I love Reese's peanut butter cups. So anytime they have anything for any holiday, like especially Easter, the eggs. Those are the best. So it's definitely Reese's, the pumpkins and the bats. Those are my favorites.
Easter, I go Peeps all the way, bro.
It's weird. I don't like candy corn, but I do like Peeps. Go figure. They're just as sweet. I don't know why.
Eric is really picky when it comes to sugar.
Apparently, I don't know. I think it's the consistency too. Candy corn has that like waxy kind of feel.
Woody Harrelson in Zombieland?
I don't know, dude. Like, there's weird things. I've told you many times. I like all tomato products. I don't like fresh tomatoes. Don't know why. I like salsa, ketchup, all that crap. But give me a fresh tomato, I won't eat it. It's disgusting to me. So
You're a weird man, Holden.
I have these weird things. More insight into me. Not only all my fabulous feats of fancy that I do, I also have weird food quirks.
Not only is he the greatest jock that's ever stepped foot on Long Island, he has the weirdest taste palette of all time.
Oh, yes. I can't even go in further. I don't like fresh watermelon. I like watermelon candy. I like watermelon flavored
But
things.
you like fresh watermelon?
I don't like fresh watermelon.
You're so weird.
I only like watermelon flavored things.
Watermelon candy sucks.
No, it's the best, especially the Sour Patch
I
watermelons.
don't like sugar, but I love watermelon candy.
Oh, I never said I didn't like sugar. No. That's not true at all. Sour Patch watermelons, they're the best. The best.
Man.
I like those two. They'd be on my list for best candy for Halloween. Sour Patch Kids. That's another one.
Oh, God.
All right, guys. Sorry we took you here. We're ending the show this way. If you guys into the show, you want to tweet at us your favorite Halloween candies, please do. We'd love to hear it.
That would have been a much better poll than your hip hop poll last night.
Yo, I was so bored when I put that up.
I could tell.
And I
looked at this and I was going, this is so on brand.
I was so bored, man. I was like, and you know what it was? I had seen I'd seen a commercial on one of the old, like those weird channels where they still show like commercials for like now music and all that stuff, and I'd seen that and all those songs are playing, so I'm like, yeah, let's ask this question.
Yeah, let's do this.
Because of course we need to know. We need to know this one. And I missed my favorite one. Justin pointed it out, so I even put my favorite song there. Oh boy. Anyway, let's put a ball on.
Is your favorite song the song you sang in your American Idol tryout?
No.
Oh.
No.
I thought it was.
No, I sang Angels.
Angels?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. At my American Idol tryout. I wish I had a tape of it, but I don't. I literally sang it outside in Soldier Field in the pouring rain. That was my audition.
Was Nico there?
Nico was like 10 when I went. He might have been. I have no idea.
If you learned anything from yesterday, age means nothing.
Apparently so. And we are proving that right now with our juvenile comments. We are doing it right now. All right, man. So, Pete, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can follow me on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Zack Snyder's favorite Vero at Pete Illustrated. You can follow podcast number 1. That's the podcast you're listening to right now. Straight Outta Gotham at straight_O_G on both Twitter and Instagram. You could follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook fan page and a Facebook group. It's fun discourse there. Follow at Team Yellow Oval. That's a fun place as we were just gearing up for everything Keaton and the Flash. Follow podcast number 2, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast that I co-host with Sausage and Meatball. That's Nicholas and Nico Caruso out of Chicago. We talk a lot of Spider-Man stuff. Check that out at Italians for Spidey. Check out BatmanOnFilm.com. I've got comic book reviews of Detective Comics. I've got TV reviews of Eric's favorite show, Batwoman, which has been fantastic this season. If you're not watching it, your bat card needs to be revoked. It's really good. Check it out. I've got interviews with Michael Uslan and Tara Strong on Batman on Film YouTube, so check those out, as well as toy reviews and all that good stuff. So I'm all over social media. I'm on Twitter. I argued about Zaddies the other day, so I lost some followers. So if you guys can help me out and just even out that ratio that everyone talks about, that'd be great. So Eric, take it away.
Yeah, guys, if you are following us, both Pete and I, tweet us around to your friends and tell them to follow us. You know we have good stuff.
We're really slutty on Twitter. We bring some fun stuff. Where else are you going to get someone asking what's your favorite 90s rap dance song? You're not going to get that from anyone else but Only
me.
Eric. Only Eric.
But me. So, of course, my Twitter handle is at finally33, spell finale 33, also the same on Instagram. Instagram, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see a lot of my food, the things that I make, all my recipes and all my food that I make for dinner. I usually post up there, so you guys can check it out there. Sometimes I even put the ingredients, so if you guys are into that stuff and you want to know, you can just shoot me a message too, and I will tell you how I make those delicious meals that I make. As Pete mentioned, we're on Facebook. So check us out in our group and our Facebook page. Pete is so good at posting all the topics we discuss on our shows there. So if you guys ever want to know what we're talking about or on the podcast, just go there and go down the list and just click them because they're pretty much there in order. Recently, we did the Iceberg Lounge show for DC Fandom. If you guys missed that, check that out. That's also on our YouTube. I also reviewed Titans for Batman on Film. So if you guys want to read my all 13 reviews of Titans of season 3 of Titans, they are over there as well. And I also have some interviews on Batman on the Batman on Film YouTube page. I have Rachel Scarsden, and I have from Batwoman. Thank you very much.
Great show.
I have what's her name?
Rebecca Romaine. I have Jerry O'Connell. There's a couple of them that are up there, guys, that we did for the Reign of Superman premiere. So if you guys want to check out those, you can check them out there. All right, so I believe that's it. So I just want to wish everyone a happy Halloween. Stay safe. Again, if you have kids and you take pictures of their costumes, tweet them at us. We love to see all that stuff. And as always, for Peter Vera, I am Eric Holzman. You are listening to Straight Outta Gotham, and we will see you next time. Booyah.